Once you arrive at your location and choose your parking spot, you will begin leveling your unit. The first step in leveling your coach is to dump the airbags by moving the air suspension switch to the down position. You will then wait until you feel the coach stop moving, which will indicate that the suspension has been completely evacuated. After the air suspension has been dumped, you will then move to the leveling system control panel directly above the air suspension switch and press the auto level button. The light will begin flashing blue. You will hear an alarm from the dash that is to let you know that the leveling system is down, and the coach will begin leveling itself. Sometimes this may take 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Once the leveling system is finished auto leveling, you are then going to move over to the ignition key, and to get rid of the alarm from the dash, you will turn the key to the off position, and then one more click to the left will put it into its auxiliary position, allowing you to still leave the air conditioning from the coach running and allow you to use your media system. Then you're good to move on to your power systems. Located above the entry steps is your battery power switches. The one closest to the door is for the coach batteries. The one directly behind that is for the chassis battery. To operate and drive the coach, the chassis battery will need to be powered on. When you arrive at your location and start your setup, you will then hit the on switch for the coach battery, which will supply power to everything behind the driver's seat. You also have the switch to turn off and on the automatic steps that open and retract when the door is open and closed, as well as an auto level switch that connects to the leveling system, and a switch to turn on the lights located inside the belly boxes. To turn on the power to the rear of the coach, you will need to come to the power systems cabinet. You will start by checking that all of the switches on your fuse panel and your breaker panel are set to the off position. This is to ensure that there is no load on the system when you are either starting the generator or connecting to shore power. Once we have confirmed that the fuses and breakers are off, we will come to the generator control panel. If using generator power, we will check the display to make sure that it says system ready, waiting to start. If it does not, you will need to go to the control panel on the generator itself and press the auto button, which will then connect the two control panels together. You will then press the run button, which will start the generator. Once you either have the generator running or the coach connected to shore power, you can then come to the fuse panel and the breaker panel and begin turning them on one at a time. On the breaker panel, you will always start with the main breaker, which is the double connected breaker in the top left corner of the panel. The next step will be to move on to the HVAC system. To control the HVAC system, you will use the wall-mounted thermostat. Each room has an identical thermostat mounted on its wall, controlled the same way. You will cycle through the modes on the thermostat by pressing the lower rectangular button until you get to the setting you would like, whether that is cooling or heating. And as you cycle through, it will also cycle through the power off and then back to power on. You will adjust the temperature using the arrows above the mode cycle button. It is recommended that the air conditioning is not set below 70 degrees, especially in hot weather, or else you can risk freezing and damaging the HVAC system. When powering down the coach, it is also recommended to power off the HVAC 10 minutes before disconnecting the power to the coach to allow the system to cycle down, avoiding damage. Located next to the generator control panel is the water and plumbing display panel. Located on the face of this panel is the on-off button for the water pump. A safety warning for the water pump is that this is only to be powered on if there is water in the system. If the tanks are dry, do not turn on the water pump as you risk burning up the motor and damaging the pump itself. To check the level of water in the tank, you will just tap this button, which will show you the status of each tank. You can also check your battery voltages here. The plumbing belly box is located near the front on the driver's side of the coach. Here you will find the freshwater inlet, which has a normal garden hose connection, and the freshwater valve. When you are filling the tank, you will first connect the hose to the inlet and then set the switch to tank fill before turning on the water. When you are ready for operation, you will turn the switch back to normal and make sure that the cap is back over the water inlet to keep dirt and debris out. Located under and behind this panel is where you will find the drains for your different water tanks. And in the belly box to the rear of this one is where you will find the drain for the black water tank, as well as the connection point located underneath the coach. If you're using shore power instead of generator power, you will need to come to the belly box located at the rear of the driver's side of the coach. Here you will find the shore power cord spool. You will simply grab the end of the cord, and while holding the extend switch, you'll pull the cord out to the desired length. The shore power cord is a 50 amp cord. It is recommended that you contact the site maintenance team and have them be the ones to connect the cord to the power source for liability reasons. When you are done with the shore power cord and you're ready to store it, you will first check to make sure that the cord itself is clean and clear of any damage, and then you will hold the retract switch as it spools itself back in. The coach does have an automatic power transfer switch, so that if you are connected to shore power or if you are running the generator, it will automatically switch over to the power source that is running. Never connect shore power and run the generator at the same time. You will risk damage to the power systems. Your ADA lift is located near the rear of the coach on the passenger side. Whenever you're going to be using the ADA lift, you will always need to make sure that the door itself is latched and secured to the coach, and that the pressure-sensitive safety mat located inside the door is clear of any obstructions. Only a few pounds will set this mat off, which will cut all power to the lift itself. When you are ready to use the lift, you will also check the area underneath it to make sure it's clear of obstructions. And then move to the belly box at the rear, where you will find the control box for the ADA lift. The power switch is on top of the box. You will flip it forward to the on position and then pull the remote off the side of the box. To lower the lift, you will hold down the down button. When the lift starts to lower, that is your confirmation that it is fully extended. At this point, we will stop, set the remote down, and turn off the power to the lift for safety. We will then need to raise our railing. Each railing is secured down by 2 lock pins. You'll pull the lock pins out, fold the railing up, and reinsert both pins. ramp will automatically fold itself into the up position once the railings are out of the way. Now that we have our railings up and they are both secure, we are good to turn the power back on and lower the lift to the ground to load our patient. The spring-loaded ramp is leaning against a powered ramp at the front of the lift that will automatically lower when it touches the ground. Once your patient is loaded, make sure that any and all brakes on the wheelchair itself are turned on. You will then hold the up button to bring the lift all the way up to the door, and the rear ramp will automatically lower itself. Before offloading the patient from the ramp, turn off power at the control box. Once the patient has been offloaded, you are clear to turn the power back on, and then hold the down button to bring the ramp back down to about waist level. Here, we will lower the front ramp and then both railings before stowing the ADA lift away. Always make sure power is turned off at the control box before putting hands on the lift itself. We'll start with the rear railing. Remove both lock pins and then fold down the front ramp. While holding down the ramp, lower the railing on top of it. Reinsert your lock pins. And repeat the process on the second side. Once the railings have been secured down with their lock pins, you're good to turn the power back onto the control box, and then we will hold the stow button. The lift will center and level itself before retracting back into the coach. When this lower lip on the lift itself folds up, that is how you can confirm that the lift has been fully retracted into its stowed position. You will then clip the remote back to the control box and turn the power off.